Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where today we're going to be reviewing and breaking down the latest episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 3, The Sin. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. Welcome back to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding me for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video and any other video from the channel that you check out, and be sure to hit that notification bell not once, but twice so that you're always notified the second a new video goes live. We're going to throw out a spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen the latest episode of The Mandalorian, as there will be spoilers from that episode in this video. So be sure to go watch that and then come back to view this video if you haven't seen Chapter 3 yet. Alright, but with that being said, let's get into it. Chapter 3 was clearly my favorite episode of The Mandalorian thus far, no contest. It was much better than episode 1, it was much better than episode 2. The pacing of this episode was a lot better, the music of this episode was a lot better. I feel like everything really meshed well together and blended really well. Everything was great, the storyline was great. This episode is kind of like essentially part 3 of a part 4 arc, I would assume. So part 1 we have him going to get his bounty, meeting with Nick Nolte's character. Part 2 we have him actually doing it, so we have the rising action, we have him collecting Baby Yoda, then we have him turning in Baby Yoda now, and now capturing him back. So I assume in part 4 we're going to find out what his intentions are with Baby Yoda. So I would say that if it was just to be a 4-part thing, that would have been the climax, and now we'll see the falling action coming in next. But what I really liked about this episode is how they started it off. And they started it off with Mando in his ship, checking back at Baby Yoda every couple of seconds. Which, again, as I highlighted in my last breakdown video for Chapter 2, the way they have to do this is really difficult, but they've done it so well that most of us don't even think about it. The fact that this character doesn't have any actual facial expressions to go with and is able to evoke such emotion and care for this being of Baby Yoda, that just clearly is something that I think is just easily overlooked. And that's something that we should take note of to realize how great of an actor Pedro Pascal is and how well that Jon Favreau had this coming together. And one of the other things I liked in this is the fact that we have Carl Weathers back in this episode, and how he's kind of like that classic cantina where when you do what you want, your buddy, and then by the end of the episode, he was willing to point a gun at him, willing to shoot him out. And I just think that that's classic Star Wars, and that's something that's really, really good to see. And one of the things that I found was interesting is the way that he goes about collecting his bounty. He collects the bounty, he hands over the Baby Yoda to one of the stormtroopers and says, "Careful with that," and "You be careful" is his response. So he's already showing his attachment throughout that as he's actively betraying him. And when he turns it over, he collects his bounty and he asks what the intentions are, and he doesn't get a straight answer, but he goes and takes his bounty to the armorer, which this is a great thing with Emily Swallow's character, the armorer, where he's getting entirely new armor, which we knew he would because in all of the promo, that was the armor he had. He had all of his new armor with his Beskar. So we get that, and the great thing I love about the way they're doing this Mando flashback is kind of like how they did Rogue One right at the beginning with that 10 minutes of past to get to the present. This feels kind of like that same type of thing that happened where they had to hide the child. And the way I love the fact that they're doing it as she's continuing to mold the armor, it continues to show as symbolically that it's molding his character as well. And this is excellent because at the end of the flashbacks, we see that super battle droid from the Great Purge, which is a Clone Wars reference, go in, and we see the fact that we're going to be cut off right there. So hopefully in the next episode we get that reveal of how he was able to survive that as a foundling, because clearly he's just a helpless foundling, so he can't really do anything about it. So it'll be great to see, hopefully, some Jedi, maybe some lightsaber just randomly slash, and that would just be such a treat to get another prequel trilogy reference in there. And the great thing I really liked, another thing about Mando in this particular scene, is that the armorer suggests a Mudhorn for his signet, but Mando refuses because he referred to Baby Yoda as an enemy who was helping him that wasn't aware that he was his enemy. And the reason he phrases it like this is because he clearly betrayed Baby Yoda, giving the reveal that yes, he was the enemy at this point in time. So another Mandalorian at this point comes and is named Paz Vizsla, played by Tate Fletcher, and he's not happy about this. So he's upset about the Empire Beskar, and he doesn't believe that they should be working with that, which leads to issues between the two characters, and they end up pointing knives at each other. But then they have the "this is the way," which is now the new tag phrase that we got. And the great thing about this is by the time that he's captured Baby Yoda, Paz Vizsla is the one helping him escape, with the rest of the guild helping him escape. And that was one of the best things of this episode, is really showing how much the guild is having to be united because their numbers are weak and their numbers are low. And this just really reinforces the fact that this doesn't matter what species you are, as long as you uphold to that way of life, which is excellent. And the way he goes to extract Baby Yoda was easily my favorite part of the episode, where he's going and just destroying all of these stormtroopers. So as he makes that decision, as he's powering his ship on, he sees the little ball that Yoda was playing with and knows at that point that he has to go get it, which I really like that, how they give him to the brink of him actually leaving for him to come back. And when he comes back, he does it in the most James Bond style possible way, where he goes in, he's so discreet, he's so precise, everything is great. One guy, I believe, actually gets a shot that hits him, and then he drags him over and stabs him with a knife. The whole sequence was excellent, and that's what I'm talking about with the pacing. The pacing was phenomenal in this episode. And the way they did that, where they had the original stormtroopers, I really thought that they were going to make them slightly more intelligent than they did in the original trilogy, but no. He was able to hack through these stormtroopers with zero issues, but that was easily the most entertaining part of the episode for me. The music was great, the pacing was great, the suspense was excellent, and he pulled a little Batman when he was extracting Baby Yoda, which I also found really great. And then the best part of it is Mando wants his last job before he goes to get it, but then he puts it back so he can go get Baby Yoda. That's just excellent. So he's trying to forget about it, then he can't, and then he goes to get him. That's great. And so here's the best part, is when the guild goes to save him, and then he's able to roll off with Baby Yoda, and at the very end, with that symbolic from the beginning of the episode, he gives him the ball, and then they cut out. That was just excellent, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. Last couple of things that I wanted to mention. I know this is a little out of order, kind of been trying to go with the flow of the episode, but when he's taking the Beskar armor and he gets his little, I can't remember what they were called, his little wrist cannons, essentially, he's able to put that to use in this episode, and you kind of could tell that that was going to happen, but the way he did it was excellent. So it's right after he extracted Baby Yoda, and he's surrounded by all of these stormtroopers, and right when you see that, you know that that's exactly what he's going to do. So he puts his blaster down, and then he sets Baby Yoda down, and all of them go, and he just kind of looking around like, did I get him? Yep, well, cool. And then he keeps going. That was just great. That was unintentionally funny just because of how well it worked. And Pedro Pascal's so great. He's kind of conveying just a little shock at how well that actually worked, it seemed to me. And then the last thing I have to address is, as he's trying to escape, when he's using his flamethrower and he's sniping people, and he's just essentially taking everybody on one-on-one, and he's telling him in the speeder, the droid, to drive, and the droid says no. That was great comedy too. So Jon Favreau's done an excellent job with making this extremely suspenseful while entertaining and comedic at the exact same time. So I just really enjoyed this episode completely for that reason. The fact that the droid's able to say no and he has to argue with the droid was excellent. And at the end, when he gets to his ship, I could tell that a second Carl Weathers character decided to make a run for it, that's where he was going to go. And I knew the second Mando shot him that he wasn't going to be dead, because he's in all of the promo posters. And I knew he wasn't dead. We knew he wasn't dead right after he leaves, and they cut back to him, and he was saved by his Beskar. So that's just another little symbolism that was excellent, because they pointed it out to him when he goes back to the cantina, and Carl Weathers' character shows him. He says, even I'm rich too, and he pulls him out, and they were in the exact same spot. So that foreshadowing was excellent. Alright, but that's the last thing I have to say. So let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comments down below. Which one is your favorite? I'll put a poll out. My favorite is easily episode 3. It was excellent. Still waiting on Gina Carano's character and for IG-88. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and may the Force be with you. Thank you for watching this episode of Star Wars Coffee. If you enjoyed it, and frankly, even if you didn't, be sure to subscribe. And tell your friends about Star Wars Coffee as well. If you want to be able to support the work I do on this channel, please go check out some of the Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and check out other videos on this channel. Thank you for watching. I have spoken.